Hello, this is Chris Maynor, coming to you from the campus of Union University in Jackson, Tennessee. In this video, we want to talk about bonds. Bonds are essentially long-term IOUs. Bonds are instruments of debt. Bonds are issued by corporations, they're issued by governments in order to raise funds to carry out their activities. Bonds represent debt. Now, in order to fully understand what a bond is, you need to understand some of the components of a bond. In particular, I think there are 5 key components of a bond that are relevant to our analysis. The first component is what is called par value, or sometimes it's referred to as face value. For most corporate bonds, par value is $1,000. Most corporate bonds have a par value of $1,000. Now, you may ask, what is the significance of that $1,000? Well, first, par value, $1,000, is the initial value of the bond. When the bond is issued to the public, it is sold at par value. When the bond is initially sold by the corporation sells it for par value of $1,000. So it's the initial value of the bond. Par value is also the value of the bond at maturity. In other words, when the bond matures, when it is redeemed, the corporation will pay the holder that $1,000 par value. So it is the value of the bond at maturity. So you might think of it this way, that par value is the initial or the birth value of a bond, and it is also the maturity or the death value of the bond. At the beginning and at the end of the life of the bond, it is worth $1,000. But par serves a third purpose. Par value is the base. It is the base on which we determine coupon payments. Now, at this point, it might be good to second component, the coupon rate. Bonds carry what we call a coupon rate. It's sometimes referred to as the interest rate on a bond, although that's somewhat confusing. The coupon rate tells us how much the bond holder will receive each year from the corporation. So if the coupon rate is, say, 15%, the bondholder will receive each year 15% of par. Or in other words, they will receive a coupon payment of $150. So again, par value is the base on which coupon payments are determined. Coupon payments are determined by taking the coupon rate and multiplying it by par, or $1,000, and that gives us the annual coupon payment. Now, technically, most bonds make coupon payments semi-annually. They would divide this $150 into 2 equal payments, but we're going to ignore that for the moment. And so the coupon rate multiplied by par gives us the coupon payment for the bond. The fourth component of a bond is maturity date. That is the time at which the bond is matured, the time at which the bond is redeemed. At maturity date, 2 things occur. First of all, the bondholder will receive his or her last coupon payment. And so, using our example, they will receive their last payment of $150. And on top of that, the bondholder will receive face value, par value, the $1,000. So at maturity date, there are two cash flows: the final coupon payment and the receipt of par value. That occurs at maturity date. So sometimes you may hear discussion of a 20-year bond. Well, maturity date is 20 years from now, or a 40-year bond is 40 years from now. The fifth component of a bond is called the yield to maturity. Yield to maturity is the rate of return on a bond. It is sometimes referred to as the interest rate on a bond. Now that's a little bit confusing because we sometimes call the coupon rate interest rate as well. For now, let's think of yield to maturity this way. Yield to maturity is simply the discount rate that we apply to the cash flows of a bond. If you can just remember that concept, you'll be fine. It is the discount rate that is applied to the future cash flows from a bond. It is easy to distinguish yield to maturity compared to the coupon rate. The way that we can distinguish those two is to remember that the coupon rate is constant. It is fixed, at least for most corporate bonds. The coupon rate doesn't change. That 15% annual payment remains the same throughout the life of the bond. Yield to maturity, on the other hand, is constantly changing. It is a market-driven interest rate. And so it may change continually throughout a day. Yield to maturity is a variable rate, whereas the coupon rate is fixed. Another way that you can distinguish the two is sometimes this term coupon rate, investors will use a phrase, the bond is paying 15%. It pays $150. We know that is referring to the coupon payment because the bond pays a coupon. So these are the 5 main components of a bond. We're going to use this in the next video to determine the value of a bond.